Hello friends, welcome to today's video. I'm excited to hang out with you guys, even though this is my third time recording because of technical difficulties. I'm still here and I really want you guys to get this video because you've been asking for it. I've been getting tons of DMs and comments asking how I edit my photos because I've been showing you like before and afters, and I really do try to make my feed look aesthetic. I have kind of a look. I'm not super like anal about it. If it's a good image, it's a good image. I try to aim for a light, bright, kind of cooler toned vibe. So as you can see, like white and gray are kind of the predominant colors, and I try to stick with that with like pops of green and naturey stuff. So that is what we're going for today. I know that a lot of you guys specifically wanted help with your gym selfies because one, you have no control over your environment, you have no control of the lighting, the colors, pretty much anything. You have no control. It's usually a cluttered, messy background, and I totally get that. So I wanted to show you how my gym selfies look before and after, because my gym at my apartment complex certainly isn't light and bright and airy necessarily unless you're right next to a window. Like there are pockets where there are no windows on an entire like side. So this is a selfie that I posted the other day, and this is the before, and then this is what you guys saw. So as you can see, it started off pretty dark, dingy, meh, kind of yellowy, and then what I posted was nice and bright and light and defined, and I was in the focus. The background wasn't super distracting. I didn't like Photoshop anything out of it. Like this, the process I use, anyone can do it. You don't need to use like Photoshop or anything fancy. So I'm gonna show you how I achieved this for that photo. So I do all of my editing in Facetune 2. I honestly couldn't tell you the difference between Facetune 2 and Facetune 1. I just used 2 for whatever reason. When I downloaded it, I decided that 2 was the better option. So loading my photo up, this is how it looks when we start. The first thing I always do is go over to adjust and kind of try to get like a good baseline. So this photo is super dark. I'm gonna try to brighten it up a little bit without losing any definition if I can. So if I go to light, that will do it even more, but I don't want to go too far to where like my facial features get blown out. So we'll just brighten that up a little bit, bring the shadows up a little bit, and then maybe bring the temperature down a touch. You'll see later that the filters that I use add more cool tones in, but I will bring the temperature so it's a little bit more neutral because this one's pretty warm. Okay, so check that. Hello, there we go. Okay, so once I get kind of a good baseline established, I will go in and clean up the background. And the way I do that is this super sneaky trick, and that is using the teeth whitening tool on anything really. Oops, thank you, I know how to use it. So I will go in and scrub away any sort of yellowness or warm tones in the background. You can turn it up all the way to 100 so you can see more like what you're working with. Scrub it in there and just really clean that up, make it nice and bright. So there is the wall, nice and cleaned up. I don't want to let it get, oops, not smooth. I don't want to let the floor get too much work done to it yet. So there's the wall looking nice. So I'm gonna check that off, adjust it to a good level, and then this corner over here is still a little bit yellow, so I'm gonna brighten that up some more, and right there, and that looks good. Now the floor is pretty blue, and the filters that I use will make it look even more blue, so I just want to fade them out. Oops. I just want to fade them out a tiny bit. Nothing too crazy, but you guys will see later that the filters I use add a nice blue tone, so I don't want to already start off with too much blue. So let's do like that. So as you guys notice, the first like chunk of my editing is really just to bring my photo to like neutral. So I don't want it to be too dark, I don't want it to be too warm, and I just have like a clean canvas now. Next, I will go ahead and make myself look better. So I don't like Photoshop or anything. I'm just trying to bring out what's already there. In this case, I think my skin looks really red because of the lighting. So I'll go ahead and click, this is under, again, the retouch tab. I'll go over to cool down and go ahead and buff that into my arms. And then my arms and my face turned out like really different colors for some reason. So I'm gonna do them separately, but that looks like a good, realistic, healthy skin color. And then I'll go in and do that to my face as well. You can also try fixed tone. I kind of get mixed results with that one. Oh, and I forgot to show you guys, I also like to take the whitening tool. Obviously you can't see my teeth in this one, but I like to put it on things that are supposed to be bright white. So this case, as you can see, is white, but it just came out yellowy because of the lighting. You can also do your earbuds if you're being really particular like me. You can go in and do your sneakers, and that just helps them look nice and bright. So that looks good. My skin tone looks better. Everything is looking clean. Now, one thing I like to do with farther away photos like this is bring up the details of my face. So I'll go in again to this retouch tab, go over to details, and then just kind of outline the features of my face. So that's like my eyelashes, my eyebrows, my nose, and my mouth. And that will just make them more detailed. Obviously, you can adjust how much you want. I'm gonna do it at like 45, and that looks good. So as you can see, I still look like me, nothing crazy, but I just kind of enhanced what was already there. Now the last step that I feel like is a really big, makes a huge difference, is this defocus tool. It's all the way at the end. Click defocus, and then you want to defocus the background basically. So all this stuff that's distracting, all of the machines, the people, I definitely like to always defocus people in my gym selfies, especially as like just a courtesy thing. So I'll go through and defocus all of these machines. You don't have to be super precise about it, but I would recommend being a little bit more detail oriented when you're going around yourself, because it's really obvious that you did this if you like have a blurry nose or something. And I'm not like, I don't want to hide that I'm editing my photos, of course, but I want it to almost mimic like a high quality DSLR photo, not that I went in on Facetune and like manually did a hack job sort of thing. So go through, take more time than I am, but just for the sake of this video, I'm going in a little rough, but you can always zoom in super far and like clean up the edges and stuff. So I recommend that. I usually do that. So you want to get like anything that would be out of focus if you had a fancy camera. So in that case, like these plates would probably be a little out of focus too. And then that obviously looks really fake, but when you turn it down, it looks really nice. So it's kind of like the whitening thing. If you turn it up more, you can see what you're doing, and then turn it down and scale it back to a believable level. So usually for me, that's like under 5. So that made a huge difference, as you can see. And the last thing I like to do is put the same 2 filters on every single photo that I do. That really helps like having a cohesive look. So the ones that I use are under Gossip. I first go in with number 2, which helps bring things just to neutral again, like black and white, a little bit cool toned, and then kind of just helps things pop. These filters do clean up your skin a little bit, but they're not like super obnoxious depending on which one you do, but I find that Gossip looks pretty natural. So I'll turn that to like 30 to 40 usually, and then I will usually just do a hint of Gossip 1, and as you can see, that makes things really blue toned. So that is what helps me get the really cool toned like vibe throughout my feed. So I usually go to like 10-ish on Gossip, and that looks pretty good. So as you can see, that is what got me to this photo. Last but not least, I'm just gonna crop it so the composition is a little better. You don't want to go too high because on Instagram will cut you off, but if you can, stick to like the rule of thirds, and that looks pretty it looks pretty decent. So I'm gonna go ahead and save this. Once you have saved that, then I will go into Instagram and do some finishing touches before I post. So I don't know why, you can see I already filmed this video before. I don't know why, but I just really like the in-app editing features on Instagram. So I'll take the photo that we saved in Facetune, load it up, and then I pretty much do the same thing on every photo. I will turn the brightness up a little bit. I will usually turn the warmth down a little bit even more. Sometimes I do a little bit of fade. Again, I don't like my photos to look too harsh. Sometimes I take the shadows up a little bit. And then my favorite thing to do on the Instagram editing app is sharpen. For some reason, the Instagram sharpen just looks more like believable and realistic and helps it look higher quality without looking fake. So usually I'll turn that up quite a bit. Like I found if you go over 50, maybe it starts to look kind of fake, but if you do 50 or below, you can pretty much get away with that. And that is the finished product. So that is how I get my gym selfies Instagram ready. Next, I will show you how I do a just regular selfie. I actually took a selfie and edited it today, and I'll show you the before and after of that. So this is what it looked like straight out of my phone, and then this is what it looked like after I edited it. So I just kind of brought it to the aesthetic that I like for my Instagram. Obviously, starting with good lighting, a high quality photo, and like colors that you want to have on your feed is going to be very helpful. So this one won't need nearly as much work as the one that we just did before. So the main thing that I would do again is adjust it so the brightness is where I want it to be, bring down the contrast a little. So like when the contrast is up that way, I feel like there are too many shadows around my face. I don't want to bring the light up too much because my face is already kind of, like my forehead is glaring a little bit. But I'll bring my shadows up and then turn the temp down just a tiny bit. So that looks pretty good, and we're like almost there already. So the main thing that I want to do is retouch, whiten the background. Even though my walls are already like a gray color, I like it really crisp and clean. I'm gonna do my couch a little bit, and that looks good. I don't want to do anything too crazy. I do try to like avoid my hair. I don't want it to look silver or anything. Yeah, that looks good. And then my teeth already look pretty white, so I'm not gonna whiten my teeth anymore. I feel like that would look a little fake, but I will whiten the whites of my eyes, which is like a random tip, but I find that when you're taking photos, especially if like one of your eyes is behind, like in the shadow of your hair or something, they can look really dark and dull. So I do like to whiten the whites of my eyes, and that is a fun tip that helps you look more awake. A lot of people use like whitening eye drops and stuff. I have not tried that yet. I would like to, but this is basically the Facetune equivalent to whitening eye drops. Again, I don't like to do anything crazy, but I do like to enhance what is already there. So that is that. Next, there isn't a lot to do. I am going to defocus the background again like we did before. This one is pretty easy. Again, you want to try not to get too many like flyaway hairs or anything, because that does make it look pretty fake, I guess. Turn that down to a believable level, clean up the hairs, and there we go. So that already looks really good. I'm happy with that. The last thing I want to do, honestly, I feel good with like how my skin looks and everything, but I am going to go into filters, and the Facetune filters do, I feel like, smooth your skin out a tiny bit, but depending on which one you use, it's nothing like super drastic. The Gossip ones I find are pretty neutral. So as you can see, I feel like this shows a little better. Gossip 2 is more like neutralizing, and then Gossip 1 is more cooling. So I'll go to Gossip 2, bring it up to like 25, looks good, and then go back to Gossip 1, and that'll give me the cool tones that I like. So that's that. If you want to, another thing you can do in your selfies is, I think I actually did this on the finished product that I posted, is the relight tool, and that will change the direction the light is coming from. So for this photo, I feel like my eye over here is pretty dark and I wish it would pop out a little bit more. So I'm gonna put the lighting more on this side. And as you can see, that does look kind of fake, but you can blend it. So if you go all the way to this side, this is the original, and if you go all the way to this side, that's like with the relight. So I'm just gonna do it like to 30 or so, and that will just shift it a little bit and make that eye a little brighter. So that is the finished product. I'm pretty happy with it. As you can see, my skin does look more luminous and glowy, smooth, but I didn't necessarily like go in with a smooth tool or anything. And then I also defocused the background and just made it fit my overall aesthetic better. So I'm gonna save that, go into Instagram, lather, rinse, repeat. Okay, this last one that I'm gonna do is a photo of the day we picked up Rosie, and she was so little and so cute. She's already so much bigger and like more doggo-ish than she was when we picked her up. But I'm gonna show you guys again how I clean up the background, make it fit my aesthetic, and enhance Rosie's cuteness, if that's even possible. So here's the original photo. The first thing that I'm going to do is brighten things up. Again, you guys know the drill. Bring the shadows up a little bit, bring the temp down a little. This one's already pretty cool. And yeah, that looks pretty good. So, didn't have to do much for this one because it was soft outdoor lighting already. The first thing I'm gonna do is go in and get rid of this yellowish building. So I'll go in and scrub that away. Zoom in so I don't get my skin or the puppy. Oh my gosh, look at that face. Ugh, look at that. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Okay, and then I'm also gonna do the sky, because normally if the sky was blue, I would leave it, but it's really gray and it's kind of just like bringing down the whole vibe of the photo. So I'm just going to whiten that as well. And then you can't really see my teeth. You can see like 2 teeth, so I'll whiten those. And if you get it on your lips, just, there you go. Okay, so as you can see, that just makes the building less of a focal point, and you focus on the cute puppy instead. I missed a little spot right there. Okay, check that off. And then the next thing we're going to do is defocus the background. It doesn't really matter if you work on like yourself and like the details and stuff, or the background first. It just kind of depends on my mood, to be honest. So I'm gonna blur out the background. Ugh, I can't get over this little face. I forgot how freaking small she was. Okay, go around. Again, try not to like blur your own skin. If you do, like if you cut your nose off on accident, you can just go in and erase it, but you'll have to kind of refine it as you go along. You guys, if yours does not look very good to begin with, like don't worry, just keep practicing, keep refining it. You'll get there. Okay, so there's a fully blurred background minus a spot that I missed, and let's do like 5, looks good. Okay, and then if I wanted to, I could also like defocus the grass a little bit. If you kind of just stipple it in, it'll be a little less aggressive, and that looks kind of nice actually. Let's see. That way the focus is really just on little Rosie Belle and I. So that looks pretty good. Pretty happy with that. Now you can see my face is pretty like in the shadows. So what I'm going to attempt to do here, I don't think the relight thing is gonna pick, yeah, it doesn't pick up on your face if it's like a profile. But what you can do is go into retouch and go to fix shadow and just go over that, and you see how much that brightened up my face already? Like, you can actually see my face. And I have to be careful not to go too much into my hair because it'll make it look really brassy, but my face is actually visible now, so that's good. That's always fun. And my forehead looks really big from this angle, but you know, I have a big forehead, so such is life. And then we'll go into retouch. Same deal as before. I'm just gonna kind of bring my lashes and my brows a little bit more definition, and then you can also do it on little puppy or whatever like the subject is. So if I'm like holding, let's say I'm holding a tub of Pete Science protein powder, then I would like put detail on the tub. Whatever else you want to bring attention to, you can detail, and who wouldn't want to bring attention to that little munchkin? Okay, so now I've made Rosie Belle and I look fabulous, and we will finish off by going into filters, going into Gossip 2. See, this really neutralizes this photo. I'm gonna go to like 30, and then go back to Gossip 1, and that brings out a lot more cool tones. I love it. Let's do 25 here, and there we go. That is how I edit photos like that. So here is the before and after. Again, I brought my face more light, I made the background less distracting, and kind of just made it look more like my Instagram aesthetic. And then I typically finish my edit off in Instagram, so you guys know the drill. I would probably, not do an Instagram filter, I'm not a fan, but I can come in here, and this one seems like the fade look good. I think the shadows maybe I could bring up quite a bit, yeah. And then a little sharpen, and that looks great. So that is how I edit my Instagram photos. I hope that helped you guys. If you choose to use my system, let me know. Show me your before and afters. I would love to see them and see how it works in your photos. Obviously, I've only ever done it to my own, so totally let me know. I know it's not the most professional or polished way to do it. I don't use like Lightroom or Photoshop or anything like that, but I think that is super easy, user-friendly, that pretty much anyone can pull off. I, again, try to just like enhance what's already there. Facetune can do some incredible things. You can make yourself look like a totally different person in like 2 minutes flat, but I try to use good judgment and just make it look its best from what I already have. So that is today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was worth recording 3 times. If it was, be sure to hit the thumbs up button to let me know that you enjoyed it. If you want more like social media tips and tricks type videos, definitely let me know. I've been on the gram for like over 6 years, so I've got some good little tips and tricks for you guys. So yeah, just let me know. I'd be happy to help. And that is going to wrap it up for today's video. I had so much fun hanging out with you guys today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.